the book of Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 8 in the NLT. But now we have been given a brief moment of grace, for the Lord our God has allowed a few of us to survive as a remnant. He has given us security in this holy place. Our God has brightened our eyes and granted us some relief from our slavery. All right. Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak Wadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings to all you Akim out there who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believe in on the gospel. And it's the brother Quara Abad from the GMS Houston camp. And I want to go into a brief lesson. It should be a quick hit. And Lord willing, it do be edifying. I got two precepts that came to mind as I was thinking about this earlier. And I'll pull the precepts in a few. But just to give a little background on my thoughts before we hop into the scriptures, is that, when you consider Jacob's trouble, right, in which we know Jacob's trouble is that's the time the Lord will begin to judge his people, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, for the last time in this world before we get to the kingdom, right? Now, in Jacob being judged, the whole world gonna be judged because we scattered to the four corners. So it's gonna be horrific events across the four corners, man. And what's some of those events that's gonna take place in Jacob's trouble? All right, you gonna have concentration camps. You gonna have the mark of the beast at this time gonna be mandated. You gonna have uproars of the people. You gonna have a civil unrest. The citizens running in the government buildings. You're going to have every man for himself. The things that you see on TV, those are apocalyptic movies, right? The Road, the Book of Eli, The Purge, all those into one big movie. In real life, that's going to be Jacob's trouble. And the thing I was thinking about is that when you talk about a time like never before, that should strike fear in the people. When you let these people know what's about to happen. Right, the strange events and sights that we about to see, Leviathan go pop out, so on and so forth. When you tell people about this, a lot of people will want to put that day off. They wouldn't want that to happen, and especially in our time or their time, right? But as I was thinking about that, is that when you consider now as far as before all hell break loose, how we are oppressed. We got to go through daily just struggles and shit we don't feel like doing in this world, going to work, right? Going to work, paying bills. Just the same day-to-day bullshit, just stressing. You in traffic. You at work. You just want to get some water and mind your business. And you getting water and now coworkers just talking to you. I don't care about your weekend. I don't care to tell you about my weekend. It was good, right? But the point I want to get at is that when you consider Jacob's trouble, a lot of people will want to put that day off. But us knowing that once Jacob's trouble happened, once the economy crashed, once all hell break loose, guess what that means for us as believers? Captivity over with. Now, again, we still gonna be in America. Yeah, we still gonna be on a run, right? We still gonna be in Jacob's trouble, in the mix of all things. But when you consider that, and I hope, it's coming out right how I was thinking about it, but when you consider when Jacob's trouble start, captivity gonna be over with. Ain't no more going to work. Ain't no more paying another bill. What registration sticker I gotta get updated? I ain't gotta see no more coworkers. The same day-to-day bullshit we going through, traffic, dealing with these people, seeing the pride even on social media. You get on social media, the pride of these people, and all this, the nonsense and opinions. When all hell break loose, all that shit gonna stop. Think about it. Everything gonna stop. Now, we gonna benefit from the change that's brought in the world. And I'm about to get the precept in a few. I just want to get some thoughts off. It shouldn't be a long lesson. But once all hell break loose, Now everyday life is over with. No more bills, no more oppression, no more none of that stupid shit. Right? The day-to-day monotonous just BS. Now it's going to favor us, because once all these pleasures and things get taken away, the only people that's going to be protected and taken care of are those who serve the Lord. So again, once all this is going away with, the Lord going to step in on our behalf. So, again, it's going to be a fearful time. We might be scared, nervous. We might cry a few times. We might be running and tired. But ain't no more working. Ain't no more bills. Ain't no more bullshit. Ain't no more child support. None of that. Now it's just us and the Lord, and hoping that he get us through the time that we go be in. But the point is that you would explain Jacob's trouble to a lot of people and they wouldn't want that to happen. But us as believers, we should, because all this shit gonna be over with. The things that we hate gonna be over with. Now our power gonna have to step in on our behalf and get us through the time like never before, because we've been serving him now. Let me get this precept real quick. I'm gonna get this in Jeremiah chapter 30, right? This is Jeremiah chapter 30. And I'm gonna start at 7 first. All right. Jeremiah 30 and 7. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So that the Lord said, there's a time coming that the world have never seen. And Yahweh Shai, he quoted this precept, and he even added on a little bit and say, look, and if the Lord don't shorten the time, then nobody gonna be saved. No flesh gonna be saved from the time we about to see in this world. But let's keep reading. I want to read verse 8 too, because it says, after Jacob's trouble, then what? Let's read it. I'm going to start this again. Jeremiah 30 and 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Check this out. It says, for it shall come to pass in that day. So when Jacob's troubles kick off, right? And especially when we get saved up out of here after Jacob's trouble, when Yahweh Shai come. But think about it. It says, alas, for that day is great, none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. And now next it says, for it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and I will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. Once all hell break loose, we technically done with captivity. We really done with captivity. Because ain't no more oppression. It's going to be every man for himself in Jacob's trouble. Ain't no more boss telling you to go clock in. Right? Clock out. Take a 15-minute. Ain't no more of that. It's going to be every man for himself. And if the Lord not dealing with a man, then that man going to be through. See, when all hell break loose, we gonna benefit as servants of the Lord. Lord willing, man, because of what we doing now while everything is all good in the world. Let's read this again. I'm going to read the NLT. See if it says something a little different. Jeremiah 30 and 7 and 8 in the NLT. It says, in all history, there has never been such a time of terror. It will be a time of trouble for my people Israel. Yet in the end, they will be saved. And that's the elect going to be saved. So check this out. It says, for in that day, so when all hell break loose, Jacob's trouble, for in that day, saith the Lord of heaven's armies, I will break the yoke from their necks and snap their chains, and foreigners will no longer be their masters. Hey, I was thinking about this earlier. I'm like, bro, when Jacob's trouble start, we really kind of going to be out of captivity. Now, again, we still gonna be in America, but it's still gonna be in England. We still gonna be here. But again, the systemic oppression won't be intact no more. Like, it's gonna be done. Ain't no more jail, so to speak, and bonds and bills and debt. All that's gonna be done. This world at this point in time, when all hell break loose, that's gonna be on a fast pace to being over with. Now, the thing is, we ain't gonna need nothing from this world. Once society is crashed, we ain't gonna need shit else from this world, man. Now the Lord gonna step in is the point. Again, once all hell break loose, once Jacob's trouble start, in a way, now because you gotta clarify, because some people may say, man, he said we gonna be out of captivity, right? Captivity we won't fully be taken out of captivity officially until Yahweh Shai beam up the elect, right? But in a sense, in a spiritual, thought of it, when all hell break loose, what captivity, what oppression will we, how it's not going to be the same society. Now it's the law going to be taking care of us as all these people suffer in the world. The scripture says the plagues are coming for the people in the world like it came for those back then when the flood, and not for Noah. Let me get that real quick. Let me get this real quick. Right? But it says, and strangers will no more serve themselves. We will no longer have heathen masters, man. Now, again, ultimately, when we be saved and we rule, but in a sense, that's really going to kind of begin when all hell break loose. Let me get this real quick. What I was about to get? I think it's Sirach 40. How it says, all these things happen for the wicked. Let me see if I can find it. Yep. 2nd Ezra chapter 40 and verse 9, it says, death and bloodshed, strife and the sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge, these things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood. So all what's about to happen, that's coming for the wicked, man. So when all hell break loose and society crash, now again, we say Lord willing because we don't know, but that's the time we're going to be looking at these people finally get judged who haven't been serving the Lord as Israelites. Or if they are heathens, those same co-workers, that same boss who treated you wrong, so on and so forth, right? Now it's going to be their time to get judged. But what we going, let me get this real quick in Isaiah, what is 10? This is the other precept I had. Isaiah 10 and 20. Once all hell break loose, we ain't gonna have to go to this government no more. We done with that. We gonna be done with that. Now our power gonna be directly dealing with us through divine intervention, man. Real quick, this Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 20. Check this out. It says, and this shall come to pass in that day, right? And remember, it says it is a day of Jacob's trouble. Then it says, in that day, we no longer gonna be ruled over by heathens. But now it's saying in that day, so let's read about this day. So now it's saying Isaiah 10 and 20. So when all hell break loose, what's going to happen for us as believers? Who going to take care of us now that the system going to be broke down? Isaiah 10 and 20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more stay upon him that smote them. When all hell break loose, we no longer, and even now though, we still in this world. See, now we forced to go to the government for things. We forced to have to pay bills. But when that day hit, when Jacob's trouble hit, we no longer gonna have to go to the so-called white man for help. We no longer have to go to the so-called white man for food. What stores go? What Kroger, HEB, right? All that's gonna be cleaned out. See, when it really matters, the Lord, when all hell break loose, the Lord gonna protect his man. It's gonna be no need to look for help from the government, man. We ain't gonna need them no more. We don't need them now. In a sense, we do because we still going through the day-to-day shit. The system's still set up. But once it's done, we ain't gonna need Esau no more, man. We ain't gonna need to go to no heathen stores to get better herb, shit like that. But let's finish reading this, Isaiah 10 and 20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob, those who repented, right, separated from this world, it says, shall no more again stay. And when you go into this word stay, the Hebrew word is sha'ain. And when you go into that word, it's look to somebody for support or help. So it's saying when all hell break loose, we no longer go look to Esau, these heathens, for help or support. It says, shall no longer stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, the Holy One of Israel, in truth, man. The Lord gonna be protecting us when the society is done with. We not gonna need nothing from this world no more, man. And that's kind of what I was thinking about earlier. I was like, bro, when Jacob's trouble really start, that's gonna be a blessing. That's gonna be a blessing. Ain't no more work, man. No more. Again, now I guess the crossover to this, although we ain't gonna have to work, but we gonna be in a time like never before, a fearful time. But the comfort in that, the Lord said he was going to protect us as long as we serving him now while things is good. That's what I'm hoping in. You see? That's what we should hope in. And it says the remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power, man. But I just want to touch on that. Like, man, when all hell break loose, that's kind of really going to be a relief for us. You see? That's going to be a relief for us in this truth when all hell break loose. That might be the title. It's going to be a relief for us in this truth when all hell break loose. That's the title. I'm going to end it right there. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shah, Bashim Rachak Wadashi, and with that, Shalom.